lot of people's minds as we move into 2024 is this whole idea of the possibility of the DEA rescheduling cannabis from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3. Was interested to get your thoughts on that. If you think that's going to happen, when maybe you think that's going to happen, and what does that really mean for investment in the industry?
Well, I mean, first off, to say I think most people agree out there that there's no crystal ball for cannabis. It's really a hard industry to predict. But that being said, I was looking through some old emails over the holiday, Ben, and pulled up some material that we've been asked to put together for an IC3 event, which is many people in the know or not in the know, but they've been around the block in this industry. This was in New York in October 2018. And Al Foreman was part of this piece of paper that was put together. A number of us were asked to kind of provide our predictions. Tom Zuber, Vika Desai, a number of people. And one of the things that we came out with looking at is trying to predict in 5 years what the sector is going to look like. And one of the first things we started off with was how many medical states are there going to be in 5 years? And we did some simple math. But we essentially said that there are going to be 40 states and DC that are legal. And frankly speaking, if you look back at it right now, and that was October 2018, 5 years ago, we hit the nail on the head, frankly. And so, not again, there's no crystal ball, but the other thing that we like to do at Golden Eagle Partners is we're very quantitative. Again, I have a degree in biochemistry and degree in molecular biology. Luckily, I have 3 patents, US patents to my name. So we're very analytical and quantitative. And so many of you may have seen the piece that we put out on LinkedIn mid-December on trying to actually apply some of the data that the DEA, we looked at how many compounds had been scheduled, rescheduled, or descheduled in the last 5 years. And it was actually, the answer was 41. And then we looked at, applied when do those actually happen, what quarter of each calendar year from 2018 on, and then we applied that analysis to when we might think what this might happen. And again, it's hard to predict, but coming of our analysis, we thought there's a 10% chance that it won't even be schedule 3. It might be a schedule 2. But then if it's a schedule 3, then when might that happen? What our thought was, there's probably a 25% chance that if they reschedule to Schedule 3, it might not even happen before the election. So that means, and again, this is just kind of applying some trying to sense to it. And I think everybody would agree listening to this that there's not a 100% chance that the DEA is going to reschedule this before the election. But that being said, out of the 75% chance, we applied that to the data that we saw and when these events happen, when the DEA announces these in the Federal Register, and our analysis came up with the best chances in Q2 that it'll be rescheduled, 41% chance that it'll happen in Q2. Now, we've also heard people thinking that the DEA is going to announce a rescheduling of cannabis on April 20th, 4/20, but I can't imagine that the DEA is going to play to the cannabis sector. As a matter of fact, one of the points we don't think they're going to play the cannabis sector, and that's one thing that during the Benzinga podcast with Hunter Land, our thought is it's probably not going to happen before the election. But one of the data points, that not many people saw is, I think it was December 12th, just less than a month ago, the DEA announced adding another 6 compounds to Schedule 1, and these are cannabis mimetics. Now, they're not naturally occurring cannabinoids, and they're not even cannabinoids, they're cannabis mimetics, but they do hit the CB1, CB2 receptor. And, I don't think it's out of the realm of imagination to assume that the DEA was thumbing their nose at the cannabis sector by throwing these. And essentially, again, to be clear, Ben, the DEA put these 6 compounds on a temporary or preliminary Schedule 1. And after a year, if their findings come to fruition, they will then keep it on or take it off Schedule 1. My guess is, though, that most people don't realize that there are 43 cannabis or cannabis mimetic cannabinoid associated compounds on Schedule 1 right now. And so now let's add to the 43 to the 6. So now there's 49. 43 was the number before December. And now there's 49. The other thing that's so screwed up about this whole thing that we want to make really important is that there's over 500 compounds that are scheduled by the DEA on Schedule 1 through 5.
Mm.
And of those, there's only one of those is not a compound, that's cannabis. Cannabis is not a compound. Cannabis is a plant. It's a genus, as we mentioned. So this whole thing about trying to apply analysis and logic to what the DA is going to do this is really hard to do because again, the whole logic behind this, again, if you're applying the biochemistry perspective on this, cannabis is not a compound, it's a collection of 500 plus compounds, or more
Right.
than that probably, right?
Yeah.
And so having them reschedule or deschedule cannabis as itself, it's ridiculous.